We had our first caution-free race last weekend when Matt Tuck went to victory lane at the Auto Club Speedway. And today, for the first Saturday race of the season, we continue our West Coast swing as we head to Sin City and Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the Braille Battery 400 in the Wawa Cup Series 2023 season. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway on a Saturday afternoon. It's our first Saturday race of the season. This is technically our fifth event that we've done, and the first time we're doing one on a Saturday afternoon, but hope you're having a wonderful Saturday here. The first weekend in March, spring is just around the corner, and we're excited to see how this season unfolds. We've already been 3 races throughout the campaign so far. Aliero won the first 2 races at Homestead and Daytona, and of course last week Matt Tuck went the victory lane at the Auto Club Speedway. And we may get ourselves a new winner here today as well. I'm joined alongside Josh Williamson, whose driver won this very race 5 years ago, by the way, John Stewart. That was his first ever win on the channel. He's now racing in the IndyCar Series, but hey, how do you win here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway? This is a very interesting racetrack because the inside lane works very well early on and then it eventually kind of wears out. But how do you just keep the lead and dominate here? Because there's going to be a lot of passing in this race. We saw a lot of passing in the sprint race. I don't know. Your driver won here. How do you get it done here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway?
Well, it is a very complicated racetrack. I know it doesn't really seem that way because, well, on face value, it is shaped like a few other mile and a halves. We go to Kansas, Chicagoland, and I know it's not on the schedule, but it's shaped like Kentucky as well. But the turns are much narrower than those racetracks. It is 20 degrees like Kansas, but Kansas is a little wider than Vegas. There is hardly any room to hide, so you've got to be keeping your stuff clean. And you've got to be very calculated about when you make the moves to get up towards the front. And, well, if chances are, if you set a bad qualifying time, like I'd say outside the top 15, you're going to have a really, really hard time getting up towards the front, even with, like, how much passing there's going to be. We've seen that. It's a routine thing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but you basically just keeping your nose clean and calculating the moves right. And of course, given that this is a 67 lap race now as opposed to 54 that we've become accustomed to for mile and a halves in the cup level, with the ratings that come into play as well, I don't really know if we're yet seeing them come into play. It's still early in the season, but it is there are a ton of factors at play for sure that should make for a very interesting race.
Absolutely. Really don't know what to expect. We could see a caution. We could see a caution-free race. We had a caution-free race last week at Auto Club. Who's to say what will happen? But I think one thing that will happen, we're going to see this field spread out if we go green, and that's going to make things very interesting. But I say we see a lot of passing here to this racetrack because on Wednesday night in the Wawa Sprint Series, we had 4 different leaders in that race, and the winner of the race came from back in the field. So that was only a 20-car field. This is a 40-car field, but hey, it's going to be fascinating to see how it all goes down, and we're just going to go ahead and get it started. It's been a while since we've done a cup race here before on this track, so my mind's kind of drawing a blank on how it races, but it's all going to come back to me once we take that green flag. This is how they line up in the point standings coming into this race. Aliero, of course, still the points leader, but by only 2 points ahead of Seth Cole. Seth Cole finished top 10 every race so far this season, only driver to do so. He's 2 points behind. Sebastian Kukulon is 9 points behind. Nicholas Samidio 10 points behind. And Ludovic Charette, the Daytona 500 runner-up, he's 12 points behind coming into this race. Last week's winner, Matt Tuck, is 6th in points, 14 points behind, but still very early on in the season, and we'll start focusing on that chase battle once we get probably to about race 12, race 13 of the season in late April, early May. Four drivers who advanced on Wednesday night. Will Parrish grabbed the race victory in the Sprint Series, followed by Sam Oskin, who finished second. Benny Moore, I believe, was third, and Tyree Cartman was fourth. They may have swapped positions, but either way, those are the four drivers who are racing in here from the Sprint Series. And you see Benny Moore starting in the 6th position there in that 56 machine, so that could get interesting to see if he can rumble it with the Top Guns here in the Wawa Cup Series. But either way, we can't see until we get these drivers to roll off, so let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see, Drew Webb in the number 99 for Titan Fury Racing, who has been excellent in qualifying. He's going to win the pole here for the Braille Battery 400. He's going to be starting alongside the 62 there of Thomas Troxel, who also had a great starting position last week at the Auto Club Speedway. Christian Vargas to the inside of LJ Semedo there in row number 2. They have Tanner Parton and Benny Moore there in the 56 machine for Hairgel Motorsports. The Meliela Smoothfest winner of Blaine Key starts to the inside of Laura Chung, and then Braden Perez and Travis Crampton. Crampton started on pole last week, but could not hold on to it. And he would definitely love to rebound after that one. We'll just have to see what he can do. We got Seth Cole, Nicholas Sambadio, very strong, row number 6. Go through the field, make sure everybody rolls off, and then Josh, who do you think is going to go to victory lane here today in the Braille Battery 400 at Las Vegas?
I'm going to go back in behind Seth Cole. I'm going to go with Justin Zeidel there in the Samsung number 51 for the Grattan Motorsports team. I don't know what kind of season he's been having to this point, but he's been fast whenever I've been in the booth. He's starting up towards the front. He could go to victory lane today at Las Vegas.
It's very possible. He's never won before as a driver in the Cup Series, but he's had a solid season, 15th in points coming in, and won in the IndyCar Series about 2 weeks ago. Well, hey, it's going to be a fun one here for our first Saturday afternoon event. Drew Webb will lead us off, and we're green flag in the Diamond in the Desert. Drew Webb will lead lap number 1 here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and a bonus point towards the championship for him as well. A good jump there at the start as Elijah Gordon with an issue right at the start of the race. That's a shame. And he officially crossed the line, I do believe, so no need to reset it, of course, but not an opportune time for the 69 to have an issue here. As we got 3 wide, Blaine Keys, Tanner Parton, Thomas Troxel. This is the edgiest part of the race, where they're all bunched up like this, and 3 wide here at Las Vegas can sometimes be very difficult, especially off the exit of turn number 4. Keys will get out of it, but here comes Perez, and here comes your pick, Justin Zeidel. Great start for this race in the number 51 for Justin Zeidel. Of course, his teammate won last week at Auto Club, and Grattan Autosport, I think they're a very strong team here in the Wawa Cup Series.
You know, we really bragged on Dracoan, and for good reason. Got the Smooth Fest, got the Wawa 400, and then got the Daytona 500. But Grattan Autosport has been very quiet to start the season. Well, not quiet. They've been up towards the front, sure, but they haven't been able to get to victory lane. Justin Zeidel is putting the field on notice here early on.
What are you talking about? They won last week with Matt Tuck. Now Zeidel hasn't gone to victory lane
before
yet.
Last week.
Before last week. Hey, we're still very early on in the season, so I say Grattan Autosport, they're starting off on the right foot this year as well, along with Dracoan Racing Enterprises, of course. And of course, they got both of their drivers just around this top 10 here. Aliera here in this group with Brad Stover, LJ Semedo. Of course, Blaine Keys, kind of the best run he's had in a points race so far. Dominated that Smooth Fest, but haven't seen him in a points race running up front that much as of late. Drew Webb still, though, up front in the 99 for Titan Fury Racing. And this is a guy who has run up front in a lot of these races and has had really good qualifying efforts, but has not been able to show it in the race. And I know he definitely wants to keep that 99 up front early on here in this one. Christian Vargas there in second. How about Tanner Parton as the yellow's out?
Caution's out.
And again, Joey Hightower in the 24 actually had a problem in qualifying. Clocked in a 35-second lap time, and the average speeds were 29, 30 seconds for everybody. He got caught up with Fisher G and Eric Monaco with damage as well. And this is sort of good for Elijah Gordon, but not really. We don't have a wave around rule here. I know you do in your series, Josh. We don't do that over here. We're very old school over here in the Wawa Cup Series, so I kind of like it that way. No overtime. After that Daytona 500, I don't like overtime. Well, hey, this is going to get interesting because we have some guys coming down, but Justin Zeidel going to stay out here. Quite a few guys coming down the pit lane. Drew Webb, our race leader, coming down. Now, I'm wondering if this is going to be a fuel-only stop for some of these guys or what. You see some of these guys coming down. Vargas taking right sides, at least in that 57. We'll see what Drew Webb does here in the 99. Not many drivers staying out on the racetrack, but this is going to make things very, very interesting here in this race. And Drew Webb looks like it may be a fuel-only stop, which I find a little interesting. Still on the pit lane there. They're taking quite a bit of fuel, and
Braden Perez just had a quickie
we
one.
may have a problem.
Oh, no.
That's a shame for that 99 team. Not entirely sure what the issue is, but early on, problems on the 99. And
I almost wonder if they couldn't get the can attached the right way. That was a really long time to stop. They didn't even jack the car up or anything.
Yeah. Quite a fascinating thing there, but we really don't know what happened because of the invisible pit crews that this game has to offer. Hey, the game crashed a couple times last week when I was trying to do Auto Club, so I'm kind of glad they don't animate the pit crews because that would really crash my game. Hey, interesting race so far. Not entirely sure how this one's going to go down. Looks like Logan Williams might be coming down here in the 95. He's kind of peeking down as if he is, and he will. Now, the fuel window, this is kind of interesting with the fuel-only stops for some of these guys. The fuel window in this race is just a little bit past halfway. I think about lap 35 to lap 38, 37, around that. So they really don't need to come down at this point and top off. But we're just going to have to see how that affects the race. Zeidel out front. Logan Williams comes down. Let's go ahead and see what happened to Joey Hightower and Fisher G to bring out the first caution of the day here in the Braille Battery 400 at Las Vegas. Well, like I said, 3 wide here, Las Vegas. You got to watch out. Eric Monaco, Fisher G, and Joey Hightower. And Hightower overshoots the corner, gets into Fisher G, and there's no room for Fisher G to go to, I don't know, just alleviate the impact there from Hightower. Monaco was there and up into the outside wall. It's the second time Hightower's wrecked on a 1.5 miles. I feel like this is another team that may have some success this season here in the Wawa Cup Series, but they just have not been able to catch a break yet. Joey Hightower and Trackhouse Racing there, Reggie Fogelman, the owner of the team. Fisher G also caught up. Tough break for him, and then Eric Monaco as well. Tough break for all 3 of those guys, but thankfully that was pretty much all that ensued. Elijah Gordon came through and sideswiped the 24, which is how Elijah Gordon garnered his damage, but other than that, relatively minor accident. We've seen way worse here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
So watching again at full speed as they head off into turn 3, they get together. Fisher G, Joey Hightower, and Eric Monaco. Just so unfortunate what happened there. And Sam and Oskin in the 0-1 also getting a piece there on the right side of the Texaco Haviland car. And then in will come Elijah Gordon to sideswipe. I guess he hasn't quite got there yet.
For a tire issue.
And it's going to be right here in the tri-oval.
Oh,
right there. Ow! Got up and collected the wall,
and
too, didn't he?
That may actually be what knocks out Hightower in this race. Hightower going to be the only driver to fail to finish after this accident. And that's maybe some words exchanged between the two of them at the end of this one. Hey, Drew Webb, an extended pit stop here. Most of these guys came down, but Justin Zeidel stayed out. Everyone's still going to have to make at least one more stop in this race. We'll have to see how it all goes down when we get back to racing here in the Braille Battery 400 at Las Vegas. We're back here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway after the first caution of the day. Joey Hightower and Fisher G getting caught up. Elijah Gordon actually also got a bit of damage as well. He's still out there, but I tell you, that 69 has not had a good day at all. But Justin Zeidel has good run form. Of course, 8 drivers stayed out entirely. They were Justin Zeidel, Aliera, Benny Moore, Will Parrish, who won here on Wednesday night in the Sprint Series, Trinity Ida, Travis Crampton, NS Racing teammates, Dylan Matthews, and Ludovic Charette. Braden Perez topped off on fuel, first driver off the pit lane, and then LJ Semedo. Drew Webb fell all the way back to the 30th position after his extended stay on the pit lane, so we'll have to see if he can find his way back up front. But everybody still has to make one more stop in this race, so Zeidel's in a good position here as we get back to racing on lap 10 of 67 in the Braille Battery 400.
You know, I mentioned Jerkoen a little earlier on. Look at Ali Liera there sitting in the second position. I know these front drivers stayed out, but already back up towards the front. One at Homestead, one Daytona. And now is all over the backside of Justin Zeidel, heading down the Nellis straightaway into turn number 3. Taking a peek down to the inside, trying to move the 51 up to the racetrack. And here we go down the front straightaway.
And a good run there for Ali Liera trying to take this race lead. Of course, she won the first 2 races of the season in Homestead and Daytona. Finished 21st at Auto Club, though, so she really wasn't a force to be reckoned with over there, but she might be here. Taking that race lead away from Justin Zeidel. Here comes the Sprint Series drivers. Will Parrish. Now, Will Parrish has been around for a long time, but he grabbed his first ever race victory on the channel on Wednesday in the Wawa Sprint Series. So great to see that out of him. Congratulations to him once again on that. And how about this run? He's top 5 right now in the Cup Series race. You got Benny Moore there, who's been excellent in the Sprint Series. The points leader over there in the Sprint Series right now, running in the 3rd position. And then Travis Crenta trying to rebound after the dismal run he had, a dismal pit stop in that race that kind of put him back. As we got Zeidel going for the race lead on lap 12 on Liera. And that 51, I have a good feeling about Zeidel in this race. What do you? I know you do. You picked him to win, but it's looking pretty strong here out of this 51 right now.
Well, as mentioned, the team's got momentum coming in, breaking through to get their first win of the season with Tuck last week. And, well, Zeidel, he's shown speed through the season so far. 15th in the standings coming in, and there he goes right to the race lead. Ali Liera stepping back on the outside. Looked like trying to get that outside lane going, but might be a little too early in the run to... Well, I don't know. She's doing a pretty good job right now.
We might be seeing that outside lane come into play here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. How about this for Travis Crampton? The driver right ahead of him, that's Will Parrish, who is driving for Crampton's Sprint Series team, Triad Racing. Of course, got the race victory. And this is just like Homestead when Ali Liera had Sam Oskin in her 77, and they were both running up front.
I was just about to say, eerily reminiscent of that.
Here comes Ludovic Charette. Great season for Ludovic in this 61. 5th in points, obviously runner-up in the Daytona 500. And was runner-up to this lady, who is outside right now. And another great run for him here for Andrews Racing, and number 61 team. Andrew Miller on this inside lane. Great to see Andrew up front. Number 88 machine. Had a solid run at Auto Club, moved up 10 positions in the points, trying to work his way up. Dylan Matthews in the 47 here, looking 3 wide.
Whoa!
You got to be careful going 3 wide here, but they will keep it together. This is Derek Hamill's team, Hamill Racing Enterprises, and the other Hamill car, Echo Evans Ross. She's kind of working this inside lane to her advantage right now, to the inside of Braden Perez, and Trinity Ida trying to move up 2, but Justin Zeidel out to a significant lead right now, ahead of Will Parrish in the 0-2. About 7/10 of a second here on lap 16 as Charette to the inside of Crampton there for 3rd. That's 61 trying to get that 3rd position. You know what? Ludovic's a driver who I think is going to go to victory lane here soon. The way things have been going for the 61. Showing a lot of strength so far early on in this season, and we're just going to have to see if that 61 team can, in fact, pull it off. Miller way up.
Whoa!
Way up the racetrack. And now this is something we saw in the Sprint Series race on Wednesday. Guys would, like, miss the entry into turn 1 and, like, go almost to the wall in turns 1 and 2. I really haven't seen that yet here in the Cup race, but we saw that quite a bit in the Sprint race on Wednesday, and that could be something we see out of these guys here today. Meanwhile, look at this hornet's nest back in here. Your driver, Seth Cole, in the middle of all this.
Man, he has just got to be having a horrible time being up on that outside lane right now with all the traffic that's around him. That is a very sketchy situation to be in. He's got the 32 of Chase Buck behind him. As we look back through the field, 37 is slow.
Of course, he was involved in that accident,
G.
so he could become a bit of an issue for our race leaders at some point. Dylan Matthews to the inside, Ludovic Charette for 3rd in the 47 machine. Ooh, he really dove it in there deep, though.
Oh, yeah, gonna get it, potentially.
Charette going to try, but not going to be able to hold that outside his advantage. And Dylan Matthews now up to the 3rd position there in that 47 machine. Of course, he's another guy who didn't come down the pit lane, but like I said, everybody still has to make one more stop in this race, including the drivers who topped off on fuel. So Troxel was one of those drivers who topped off, and here he is, moving his way up into the top 10. Same with Brad Stover. Braden Perez was the first driver off the pit lane. He's lost a lot of ground here as he's getting passed by Trey Wright. Laura Chung here as well. You got Chris Reynolds, Nicholas Amadio battling in the middle of all this. Everyone's just all over the place, and this is exactly what I was saying. We get a lot of passing, a lot of shuffling throughout the entire field. And one guy will be 5th one lap, and then 5 laps later, they'll be 25th. Just how this racetrack is, especially early on in the run. But it's starting to settle down up front with Zidell leading the field in the 51, Will Parrish in 2nd, and Dylan Matthews in 3rd. And then Charette and Yera also kind of have a breakaway from the rest of the field as well. So starting to single file out up front here in the Braille Battery 400.
I don't know if it's going to stay that way. Justin Zidell pulled away to about a 1.2 second lead, I think, at its maximum. But now Will Parrish has steadily been closing in, although he didn't close in quite as much that go around. But here's Dylan Matthews now going to the inside of the 0-2, trying to take that spot away. That's the 2nd, and looks like Matthews might get it. Yes, he will.
Dylan Matthews looking really fast. I kind of have a feeling he's got the fastest lap of the race, and he does. That 47 is on a rail right now for Hamill Racing Enterprises, and I'd watch out. You know, when you won with your driver, John Stewart was a rookie. Well, Dylan Matthews is a rookie as well, and an opportunity for him here against a couple of veterans with Justin Zidell and Will Parrish, and I don't think it's going to be long before we see this 47 take the race lead away. Zidell's going to try to hold on, but I don't think it's going to happen, and Dylan Matthews with a huge run off the exit of turn 4. And I have a feeling he's going to peek to the inside, heading into turn number 1 right here. No, he's going to stay behind him. And Zidell remains out front on lap 23.
I have to say, I am surprised that Dylan Matthews didn't go to the inside. It looked like he was going to have a golden opportunity to get around Justin Zidell there, but maybe he knows something we don't. But here's Zidell maybe slipping up the racetrack a little bit. But he's got a big run coming out of turn 4, so it didn't seem to hurt him all that much. But the top 3 are in their own zip code right now. Zidell, Matthews, and Parrish. Here's Liera trying to get to the inside of Ludovic Charette, and the 48
Gonna
on the
make a pass on the
That is Brett
outside.
Stover.
He
Wow,
made that look
easy
easy right there. And I'm wondering if Stover and Troxel may have taken tires on that pit stop, and they might have a little bit going for him. And we saw a couple guys take right sides at least. Echo Evans, Ross Eason moving up as well, and of course he's the teammate there to Dylan Matthews. I think they got the 2 fastest laps of this race right now. Hamill Racing Enterprise is looking pretty fast right now, and Troxel trying to move it. I mean, Stover's also moving up here in the 48 machine. Great run for him. As you know what, we keep doing this. We did it twice in the Sprint Series race, and we did it once last week, and we did it again. Pass for the race lead. Dylan Matthews takes it away from Justin Zidell. Actually did that on the last lap right there, so I'll make a note of that so you guys see that in the corner of your screen. But Dylan Matthews, new race leader here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now we're closing in on our green flag, or assuming we stay green flag until that point, green flag cycle of pit stops, and that could really get interesting because these 3 guys up front, they're going to have to come down first, but Stover did come down. He can stretch it a little bit longer, and if we get a caution, these guys, they're going to be caught a lap down, and that's not going to be good for them. So we'll have to see how that all ends up shaking out. But we still got a little ways to go before we get to that point. I'm going to give a huge shout-out to Will Parrish, who won the Sprint Series race on Wednesday. Sprint Series drivers yet to win a Cup race this year, but, it's very possible we could see it happen at some point this season. Will Parrish doing an excellent job right now here in the 0-2.
Absolutely. Tremendous run for Parrish so far, looking to get win number 1 in his Cup Series career, I believe. Justin Zidell gets to the backside of the 0-2 for a moment, trying to take that 2nd spot away to try and go and chase down the 47, who stole the lead away from the 51 just a few laps ago. Zidell not able to make the move so far, but the inability for Parrish and Zidell to kind of race each other. They make moves, but they're not getting side by side, but that still seems to be killing their momentum, and that's allowing Brad Stover to close in ever so slightly.
This 48 is also really fast right now. Brad Stover kind of pulled right away from Troxel and Surrett and Barton and all these guys back in here. And I'd watch out for him, that 48 machine, because he could actually have a shot on Dylan Matthews if he can get around Zaidel and Parrish here. We're kind of at the point of the run where it's difficult to actually get a run made, because now you see these guys kind of utilizing a bit of that middle line. They're really not going all the way to the white line as they were earlier on in the race, and the grip's kind of midway through the racetrack, so kind of in between both lines, it's kind of hard to actually get a good line to be able to make that pass. But Stover's going to try it here as these guys close back in on Dylan Matthews. Matthews may have used up his stuff a little bit right there, trying to get around Parrish and Zaidel, trying to close into him. Zaidel's going to try to get to the inside of Parrish, and he might have a shot here. This may open the door for Stover. Remember, he made that pass on Yera on the outside lane. But you have to have a good entry and just a certain way of getting that outside lane to work here. And sometimes they find it, sometimes they don't. Will Parrish, though, trying to get it to work there on Justin Zaidel. They're side by side for second. And Brad Stover may make it three wide. And not quite, but caution back out on the racetrack. And
oh, man,
Elijah
no, Gordon again.
What is
and
it,
several
synchronism?
cars.
Maybe it's not that extreme, but Gordon has seemed to be caught up in everything that has gone on today.
Looks like a few others, too.
Monaco again.
Laura
Chung with some damage. And Kukulon, who almost won last week at Auto Club. He's got significant damage on the 52.
Sam Oskin got a piece, too, in the 0-1. A little further up.
He might have. I'm not sure if he was caught up in that or not. Well, this really makes things interesting because I don't really know if you can make it to the end of the race from here. But you're going to have to come down. Dylan Matthews will lead us down the pit lane. They're trying to figure out which position they belong in back in here. So these guys are going to lose some time to the race leaders, at least in respect of trying to get to them. So here we go. I'd imagine it'd be a 4-tire stop for all these guys as well. Even though tire wear isn't as significant here, you still want to have those good years on that machine to go a little bit faster than you normally would. And that strategy may have worked out for those guys who stayed out under that first caution, so we'll have to see how well it did in fact work out for him. But Dylan Matthews there taking right sides, and they're going to go around to the other side and take left side. So it's going to be a 4-tire stop there for Dylan Matthews in the 47. We'll see how everybody else comes out. Ooh, and another issue.
Oh, wow.
More problems for the race leader here. That was a bit of an extended stop there. And he's going to lose some ground there. Zaidel takes the race lead back. Troxel in second. Stover, Will Parrish, and Benny Moore. How about these Sprint Series guys here?
How about that?
You know, both of Hairgill's Cup drivers have crashed in this race, but his Sprint Series driver is running 5th. Tanner Parton, and then Dylan Matthews. He lost 6 positions. Travis Crampton, Echo Evans Ross, Trey Wright, Ludovic Charette. Top 10 off the pit lane. Well, another issue with some of the back markers, at least in regards to this race. Elijah Gordon getting caught up. I think damage on Monaco, Laura Chung, and Sebastian Kukulon. Just to name a few as we see what happened to bring out our second caution of the day here in the Braille Battery 400. So this is actually a very extended accident. Laura Chung was coming into turn 1, and I think she had a tire go down. And these guys kind of reacted. And, you know, certain tracks have a higher panic decel than others. And if you don't know what the panic decel is, if you're not an NR offline nerd like I am, that basically determines how much these drivers react when an accident or something otherwise occurs in front of them. And the higher that number is, the more likely they are going to react. And I think we saw quite a bit of reaction from this, even though she was kind of well off the pace there. Kukulon couldn't avoid her for some reason, and then tried to come back up. Got into Elijah Gordon, who's just an innocent victim of this one. He was already 2 laps down, or at least 1 lap down. It's going to be at least 2 laps down after this one. And then Monaco, again, getting caught up in something that really isn't his fault. So Monaco, I don't know. Both Monaco and Gordon have had terrible, terrible days, as you see Gordon able to stop. That was cool there. Kind of saw when the tires stopped there. Really cool animation there. I never really noticed that. And see those 1-spoke wheels there? Hey, credit to the Full Circle Racing Designs team for making this mod. This is a great mod, Next Gen mod. Of course, keep their logo on the pace car for their recognition. And they're way smarter than I am. They deserve that recognition for making such a great mod. So let's go ahead and replay that in real time.
There's Laura Chung heading off into turn one, and again, looks like a tire just goes down on that Dodge. And in behind, cars try to take evasive action. Kukulon gets tipped by the 43 of Master, and then Gordon, oh man, 69 and the 41. Gordon and Monaco getting involved again, and Kukulon looked like he was just an innocent bystander. Got tipped by the 43. Couldn't regain control of his car, back up into the field as the 69 ran into the back of him. That is just so unfortunate and a difficult no-win situation for Sebastian Kukulon, Elijah Gordon, Eric Monaco, and anyone else that may have sustained any damage from that incident.
Yeah, that was a tough break for him, but we're already kind of running towards the back there. Actually, Kukulon really wasn't. He was kind of midway through the field, and just don't know what he was doing there. Dylan Matthews was a bit of a slow stop for the 47. Justin Zeidel has retaken the race lead here at Las Vegas. We'll have to see what he does on the restart here in the Braille Battery 400 at Las Vegas. We're back here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for our second restart. It's the first race with 2 cautions, but we're shaping up for a good one here in the Braille Battery 400. This is one of those races in the first 2 seasons of the Cup Series way back in the day. It didn't even come to this racetrack. First race was in Season 3, and it has always been called the Braille Battery 400. Thanks to Max Newworth for giving me that name all the way back in the day. I still remember that. Justin Zeidel looking at his first ever Cup Series win. Troxel trying to add to his impressive resume, running there in the 2nd position. And Josh just reminded me when the Truck Series came here, Turkey Hill Truck Series back in December. Brad Stover went to victory lane here not too long ago, so watch out for Stover. Will Parrish and Benny Moore, the Sprint Series drivers, top 5, with Parton, Matthews, Crampton, Evans, Ross, and Trey Wright, the top 10. And out of the race, well, no one's out of the race from that accident. Everyone actually still on the lead lap after that accident. Of course, Hightower out from the first accident earlier on in the day, and Elijah Gordon 2 laps down. Watch out for Kukulon, though, and Eric Monaco as they are off the pace from their crash damage. Zeidel and Troxel, 1-2. An early start, but here comes Parrish for 3rd. Watch out for this 0-2. He may sweep this weekend. He may very well sweep the weekend here.
It's early on in the run. Everybody's on fresh tires right now, so the outside's not really going to be a factor here early on in this run. So Stover's going to slip backwards, and the 56 of Benny Moore looking to take advantage there. The Hers Camaro down to the inside. Parrish slides up the racetrack into 3rd. Zeidel, I guess he's still ahead of Troxel. Troxel there in the 2nd position, trying to get around the 51. Oh, he slips up again. Stover slides way high, a little further back, and that's going to allow Benny Moore to get around the 48.
And Tanner Parton's here. Echo Evans Ross as well. She's getting a good run. She passed her teammate, Dylan Matthews, right there. Now 39 machine. Watch out for Troxel, though. I feel like Troxel's going to have a shot here on Zeidel. But both of these guys, I think they're 2 of the top drivers in this series. But Will Parrish, I'm telling you, man, he's taken every opportunity of this race here. And there he goes to the inside of Troxel. Now, I'm going to mention something here. We came down the pit lane with 35 laps to go, I think. No, it may have actually been 36 laps to go. We're right on the edge, I think, to make it to the end here at Las Vegas. This could get very interesting. We could see a fuel mileage race, the way things have played out here. But then again, it was right around that same time when we had the caution at Homestead, and they were able to make it in that one. So we'll have to see. Keep that in mind. I am leaning towards them being able to make it, but I just don't know. Just keep that in mind once we get to the end of this race, if we go green, of course. Zeidel holding on to the race lead. Will Parrish in 2nd. Troxel in 3rd. Now Travis Crampton trying to rebound here in the 98 machine. I think this is a team and a driver that will definitely find their footing at some point this season. 2 very ambitious drivers, I feel like, when it comes in terms of the ratings, and I think they'll find their footing, but they just have not gotten onto the right foot. They come in 40th in points there, and that number 98 machine, Travis Crampton, does not at all a good start to the season for him, as the yellow's back out again. And this time it's Logan Williams and Brain Perez, and Eric Monaco had nowhere to go.
Oh, look out! Kukulon barely gets through that on the outside.
I think our leaders were able to take the line there before the caution came out. And it's just the same guys getting caught up in these accidents. Perez there, Monaco as well in the 41. That's going to end Monaco's day. I think Perez is done as well. Yep, he's done. A more unconventional way to head to the pit lane, but he is done, obviously. And Monaco's also going to do the same thing because he's obviously done. Now...
Well, I would almost wonder if they take the opportunity under the caution to either clutch and coast, or do you come down and, well, I know it was just a quick run, do you go ahead and top off?
Well, the pit road was open right there, and they have not topped off. Logan Williams was caught up in that accident. Their third caution of the day here at Las Vegas. This is one of those tracks that you just never know what it's going to give you, and that's what I like about it. Sometimes we have a caution-free race here, and the driver dominates, and then sometimes we have 20 lead changes and 4 cautions. You just never know what you're going to get here at Las Vegas, and that's what makes it interesting. You know, it kind of makes sense. We're in the gambling capital of the world. You never know what's going to happen with those slot machines. I mean, you do. They're rigged, and you're not going to win, but you get my point. It's just anything's possible here. But Zeidel's in a good position, I feel like, in this 51 machine, because he seems to have a very good car. I think the guy he's got to worry about, though, is Will Parrish. That 02 has found a lot of speed. Travis working on this car for Triad Racing, putting the ratings in for his team. You know, he may be finding something there in that 02. We're just going to have to see. Let's go and see what happened to bring up the third caution of the day and get to the restart here in the Braille Battery 400 at Las Vegas. Well, what's wrong with this picture? Braden Perez, Roberto Crown Jr., and Logan Williams. Now, Logan Williams' brother, Andrew Williams, owns that 23. Going to be an interesting brotherly conversation. Perez kind of just dives it in there. And Crown Jr., you can't blame them in that 21. They have nowhere to go as they just get sandwiched. They actually get out of it, so... never mind. What am I saying? They got a bit of damage in that 21, but Perez and Logan Williams, yeah, not going to be a fun night at the Williams dinner table, I'll tell you that much. Elijah Gordon avoids this one, but someone's going to get a turkey here, and that's a bowling reference. I don't know why I'm making a bowling reference, but 3 for 3 for Eric Monaco in the 41 as he rear ends this 95 of Logan Williams right here. Nowhere to go. Williams kind of comes back down. Yeah, it's not been Monaco's day at all. And Monaco is another city with a lot of casinos in it, so I don't know. Maybe that's got something to do with it. And Kukulon also comes in. He was both Monaco and Kukulon obviously involved in that last accident. Kukulon avoids it, but those 3 guys did not. And Monaco is going to be out of the race here, and I think Braden Perez will as well in the 23.
So here they go, 3 wide into the third turn, Crown to the middle, Williams on top, Braden Perez on the inside, and slam into the outside wall. Culver's and KFC. You mentioned the dinner table. Well, those are fast food wars right there. And then Eric Monaco comes in. Eric Monaco comes in. You think he'd be dizzy by now, but throwing the Mountain Dew on top of that, that is quite the combination for the dinner table and the shenanigans that are going to go on with the Williams family. And Eric Monaco, you mentioned it, 3 for 3. He's going to want to get out of here very quickly. Avondale couldn't come quick enough.
Well, this was one of the moments of all time here. And this is why I say this is a video game and not real life. And yeah, I'll let you think about that. Well, Justin Zeidel, he's led on every single one of these restarts. Will he get the most important lap of the race? We're just going to find out here and get to the third restart of the day here in the Braille Battery 400 at Las Vegas. Now we're about to get 1 to go here at Las Vegas as we do that accident and another casualty here in the Braille Battery 400. Rogel Dorn. Now this is where, when you're doing the ratings, at least this is kind of more for the owners, reliability comes into effect. And I just don't know. You get that 1 point and you want a reliable engine so this doesn't happen. This may actually be our first blown engine of the season, but a tough break for Rogel Dorn. He's had a solid year so far. Top 10 in points. But he's going to fall outside the top 10 after this one. Tough break for the Full Frontal Motorsports driver. So now, things are going to get a little interesting here for this restart. Is fuel going to be an issue? I don't think it will be, but They're all bunched up again, and I'd watch out for these Sprint Series drivers. I just have a feeling with them, but I'd watch out for Travis Crampton, Echo Evans, Ross. They had a really good restart that last time around. They might be able to get up front, get inside that top 5, and it's still going to be over 20 laps to go on this race. So it's going to be a good opportunity for him here to possibly have a shot at taking the race lead away. But Justin Zeidel for Grattan Autosport. Grattan Autosport now looking to go 2 in a row. Dracoan Racing Enterprises did so with Allier. Of course, they technically went 3 in a row if you count the Smooth Fest, but that was a non-points race. But Yera winning at the Homestead Miami Speedway, and then at Daytona. We had Matt Tuck win last week. And speaking of Matt Tuck, Matt's still in this race, of course. I haven't really seen much of him. They're kind of midway through the field right now. They're actually right down midway in 20th. But he could still get a good run out of this one, because a lot can happen between now and the finish. Already 3 cautions. We may not be done with cautions in this race. But it's Justin Zeidel, Will Parrish, Thomas Troxel, Benny Moore, Tanner Parton, Travis Crampton, Echo Evans, Ross, Dylan Matthews, Chase Buck is up here, and Trey Wright in the 28. That's the top 10, as we are going to restart with 24 laps to go here in the Braille Battery 400 at Las Vegas.
Well, Justin Zeidel looks like he's going to get a good launch, but Parrish got a pretty decent start too. Everybody got pretty well going at the start, so it's going to take a little bit to get up to speed. Obviously, even for a 1.5-mile track like this, about halfway down the back straightaway, this should be good. Parrish running up the backside.
Remember what I said there? Goodness. Crampton and Evans Ross, they both got around Tanner Parton there. Watch out for him. As for the race lead, Will Parrish had a nose, but Zeidel able to work that outside to his advantage. This 51 may be hard to pass here, and especially the longer we go into this run, those tires are going to wear out. Watch out for that.
Definitely seems like how the further this race has gone along, the outside, even on newer tires, the outside is definitely something to pay attention to. Justin Zeidel brilliantly using that to his advantage to hold off Will Parrish, but Parrish going to try to take one more swing at him through 3 and 4 and onto the front straightaway. Meanwhile, behind, Thomas Troxel has a furious charge from the 56 of Benny Moore, side by side through the tri-oval.
And here comes Echo Evans Ross as well. She's got to run to the inside of Crampton. Crampton going to get stuck in that outside lane. Benny Moore going to shoot down to the inside. How about these Sprint Series drivers? And like I said, we're still early on in the season. You got to remember, the Sprint Series drivers, Sprint Series owners, excuse me, can't say anything straight anymore. Sprint Series owners do adjust ratings on their cars, but the drivers all have the 40-60 range on every aspect. Of course, that's for the Sprint Series drivers. For most of these Cup drivers, they have adjusted their ratings, for 5 times already, and they're kind of a little bit away from that 40-60, but how much is it the car? How much is it the driver? And that's the fascinating aspect of it. And this may be one of those racetracks where it's the car that runs better than the driver. And Will Parrish here in the 0-2, he's had a lot of opportunity, but he just hasn't been able to quite get that run. As Dylan Matthews now gets to the inside of Crampton. Crampton now falling back there in the 98 machine. Brad Stover, that last restart, kind of fell back as well. He's going to get to the inside of Chase Buck here. Chris Reynolds inside the top 10. He won on Monday at the Riverside International Raceway, Napa, Indy, California. Great run for him there in the Wolf Sanctuary of PA cars. Great to see that scheme go to victory lane for my team. I know. I was actually just there today, the day I'm recording this race, so all comes full circle there. But Justin Zeidel trying to keep it full circle here. Of course, he won in the IndyCar Series before Chris Reynolds. He's going to get his first ever Cup win here. And I'm telling you, if he gets it, he's definitely going to have earned it. But all 5 of these guys, look at Echo Evans Ross. He's going to have a shot here. Troxel there in 4th. I think any of these 5 guys can go to victory lane here in Las Vegas.
5 guys. Now you're making me hungry.
Yes.
Here comes Will Parrish up to the backside of Justin Zeidel into turn number 3. Not quite able to pry the 51 off the bottom of the racetrack, but he might have a chance of making a move heading off into turn 1. I don't know if he's going to be close enough, actually. Benny Moore right there, the 56 behind, then Thomas Troxel, and the 39 of Echo Evans Ross. A quiet driver for most of the race, but Echo Evans Ross is very much in position to win this race if things go crazy up front.
Thomas Troxel here. I think he's a good threat, as well as Will Parrish might have it here. Zeidel way up there on the outside of turn 4, and Will Parrish has a run to the inside for the race lead. Troxel, though, watch out for Troxel. This 62 going to have a shot to the inside of the 56 of Benny Moore. He may also get Zeidel here. And I don't think that 021's Troxel will get to the back bumper of him. But Will Parrish, Sprint Series driver, won his first ever race on the channel on Wednesday. This is the first time he's run in the Cup Series this year. He's been in every sprint race so far this year. And here he is, leading the Braille Battery 400 with now 16 laps to go at Las Vegas. Troxel up to third. Benny Moore now down to fourth. And Echo Evans Ross still in position to have a shot as well. Chase Buck up here in top 10. Chris Reynolds top 10 as well. A lot of guys having great runs back through the field as Zidell might have a shot at crossing back over on Will Parrish. Parrish going to get a little wide there through the corner, and Zidell might try to sneak a route to the inside. But Troxel is right there as well. But Zidell looking and peeking. You know, we may go 3 wide here. Troxel's going to think better of it, but Zidell's got to run to the inside. And they're side by side for the race lead, but Parrish has a run on the outside lane, and here comes Benny Morris. Troxel shot it up in turn 1.
They are deadlocked up front. Parrish outside, Zidell inside. We'll see what line is dominating turn 3 and 4. It is Parrish on the outside. How about that?
And there's a magic line in an outside lane, and Will Parrish found it there in the turn number 3. Justin Zidell running second, though, trying to get this. Benny Moore, though, another Sprint Series driver. Will the Sprint Series drivers go 1-2 here tonight? Or today? I don't know.
That would be a heck of a thing if they did, man.
That would be something else. But Zidell, I feel like this 51 is just going to have a way to figure it out. Crampton on Matthews. Actually, these guys have closed in on the top 5. And Chase Buck as well, Troxel's teammate, with a great run as well in that 32 machine. Hey, Matt Tuck has moved up fairly well as well. He's up to 12th now. I don't think he's going to have a shot at the win necessarily, but good run for him. Hey, here we go. Benny Moore for second.
Oh, he had to get out of the gas.
Yeah, no run there. He was going to slide in the Zidell if he tried to take that. And that may help Zidell. Here comes Evans Ross for the 4th position on Troxel. The inside lane just doesn't have anything. And now that we're at a point where it's difficult to pass, and these guys are kind of stuck behind the leaders, and they're just starting to really jam it up. Crampton, a great run for Crampton in the 98 machine. Got to give a lot of credit to this NS Racing team. They've done an excellent job here to get that 98 running up front here. As for the second position, Nathan Baird. Man, I knew I was going to make that mistake. Benny Moore in the 56. Baird drove this car for the first 3 races of the Sprint Series. It's Benny Moore taking the second position away. Here comes Echo Evans Ross there for third. And Zidell falling back. Watch out for Crampton. This 98 is really fast. I don't know how accurate the fast lap is in terms of what we're seeing right now. That's been, of course, across the entirety of the race. Chase Buck as well, coming really quick in the 32 machine. And Troxel kind of starting to lose it there. Same with Zidell. As for the race lead, here we go. Benny Moore and Will Parrish. Couple of Sprint Series drivers going at it. But Benny Moore kind of sliding up. And here comes Echo Evans Ross. She's going to have a huge run. A huge run in the turn 1.
Echo is sideways coming out of turn number 4 onto the main straightaway into the second position. Down to the inside of Benny Moore. Is Benny Moore going to chop the 30?
She's got it.
Here we go.
And here comes Crampton for third on Will Parrish. And I think the reign of the Sprint Series drivers may have just ended right there. Watch out for Chase Buck as well. This 32 is quick. We're starting to get into that point where those tires are starting to wear out, and certain drivers have saved their stuff over others. And I think those guys who were dominant early on, they just used up their tires a little bit too quickly, and now we're really starting to see that advantage. Crampton for second as Parrish tries to take third, back away from Benny Moore. Zidell still in this thing, but Echo Evans Ross trying to get this one. Oh boy! Zidell put the bumper to Benny Moore there in the turn number 1. And these guys, they're getting aggressive. They're getting edgy out there. It's an edgy race right now here.
Mission. This has been an edgy race. This has been a very technical race for most of it, but this is really edge of your seat stuff now. It's been a great race so far. But now we're at 8 laps to go, and here comes Travis Crampton.
Crampton, you know, NS Racing, they've been really strong over in the Sprint Series, but Will Parrish might have something to say about that. Oh, but Crampton's got that outside to his advantage here. He's going to have a run down the Nellis straightaway. Will he have a shot in the turn 3? You know, we still have 7.5 laps to go in this race. We're still far from over. And how about this? Echo Evans Ross and Travis Crampton, you know, you got to be fast near the end. And that is exactly what both these drivers have been here near the end of this race. And I'm telling you, that 98 at Travis Crampton, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Those first 3 races were absolutely abysmal for this team. And I think regardless if he gets the win or not, this is a huge shot in the arm for NS Racing in the Cup Series side. And they're going to ride this momentum heading into Phoenix next week, no doubt about it. Will they get the win? Zeidel's kind of back in the picture. I think Zeidel just kind of lost his mojo there for a little bit, but he could still have a shot here after this race victory. Crampton looking, he's peeking to the inside of Evans Ross with 6 laps to go. I just don't think he's got it quite yet. He's got to be careful. Zeidel's coming in this 51 as well. And all 3 of these guys run at each other here in Las Vegas.
They are according together.
There we go.
Once again, here's Crampton down to the inside.
And Travis Crampton with a shot to the inside at turn number 3. But will Evans Ross have the outside lane to her advantage? Not quite this time.
Entirely.
Benny Moore trying to come back on Zeidel, and Crampton trying to lead this lap. He's not going to lead this lap, but he's going to get the race lead away from Evans Ross if he can hold the inside in turn 1. For the race lead, Crampton on Evans Ross. Now, Travis Crampton has never won in the Cup Series before. As a matter of fact, this is the first time he's ever run in the Cup Series. And I don't even know if he's won a race on the channel before as a driver. He may get it done here, but Evans Ross may have a shot at crossing over in this 39. And Benny Moore trying to make some moves here as well. Matt Tuck, look at Matt Tuck. Top 10 run for him right now.
How about that?
Riding that momentum from Auto Club. And Benny Moore trying on Zeidel. Zeidel might have the outside. Dylan Matthews, top 5 as well. How about Hamill Racing Enterprises? They're top 5 for both of their drivers. Benny Moore diving it in there for 3rd on Zeidel. And Evans Ross trying to work the outside in Crampton, but that may have been the pass for the race win.
We'll have to see here these final 3 laps.
Oh boy! Kukulon and Williams, lap cars. They're going to get in the way. And it may not be as significant as Daytona, but this is not going to work out well for the 98. Oh boy! That brought in Evans Ross there for the race lead. Crampton will get around Williams, but that 39 still going to have a shot, but she's going to get stuck in this inside off the exit. Going to slow her down a little bit. That's going to bring in Benny Moore and Dylan Matthews. And Crampton will make light work of Kukulon. Coming to 2 laps to go in the Braille Battery 400 for Travis Crampton and NS Racing. Nathan Stapleton trying to get a Cup win as an owner. He has won a race in the Cup Series as an owner before, but this season has not shown much success as of yet, but Crampton may get it done. But Evans Ross still right here in the 39. Here we go. Oh boy. These tires really worn out.
Check up a little bit.
And a bigger checkup on the 39. Look at Matt Tuck. 6th place now for Matt Tuck. He restarted 20th. 14 positions since the restart. There's Zeidel on Matthews. All right, here we go. White flag being displayed here in the Braille Battery 400. What a race this has been in Las Vegas. And Travis Crampton trying to get his first ever win in the Cup Series. Will he do it for his good buddy Nathan Stapleton?
He's got to hold on for 3 more quarters right down to the inside. Echo Evans Ross is occupied with Benny Moore for the moment. That's Tuck around 5. Matthews. How about that? The teammates are both going to get top 5, but up ahead, it's all Travis Crampton.
And Evans Ross tried to dive it into the corner, but she's not going to have enough. Travis Crampton from 40th in the points to victory lane at Viva Las Vegas. Echo Evans Ross 2nd. Benny Moore, how about the Sprint Series driver taking it home on a podium? Justin Zeidel and Matt Tuck, they're cooking over there at Grattan Autosport. Matt Tuck with a solid way to back up his win from last week. Chase Buck, Dylan Matthews, Chris Reynolds, Brad Stover, and Will Parrish, the top 10. Sam Medea just missed out on the top 10 there in 11th. But there's your winner, Travis Crampton. A very well-earned win. Had that fastest car at the end, and that's all that it took for him. And what a win there for Crampton and NS Racing. And like I said, they came into this race 40th in points. There were 4 Sprint Series drivers who had raced in Cup races who had more points than him in the Cup Series coming into this race.
Wow.
40th. Dead last of all the full-time drivers, and they just have had so many things just not work out for him. Getting caught up in the wreck at Daytona, obviously, that was huge for a lot of drivers. I think they were actually running up front in that race, I think, when that occurred. An issue at Homestead. I can't remember what happened at Homestead, but obviously an issue in the pit lane at Auto Club last week. That was also, a huge shot for him because, or not really a shot, but it's a huge, huge thing for him in terms of falling behind on the points because they started on the pole for that race. And they had a lot of things going for him last week. California couldn't get it done. But Crampton came right up here and I'll show you how it's done. And like I said early on, I think this is a team, this 98 team specifically with Crampton and NS Racing, they're going to really be working together. And I think as the season goes along, they're going to be hard to beat. But how about that for Travis? That number 98 machine, great win for that whole team. And all of that. We had 3 cautions in this race. It doesn't feel like we had 3 cautions in this race. And I think the longer races play into that. A lot of long green flag racing. Such a great race here in Las Vegas. But obviously Joey Hightower, just like at Homestead, you're getting caught up in an accident in between turns 3 and 4. Braden Perez, Monaco, Ludovic Charette. We didn't actually catch this when it happened. Charette, who was up front earlier on today, had a tire go down and issues there on Rogaldorn, broke a camshaft on that one machine. And then Elijah Gordon had issues right from the start of the race. Fisher G, Logan Williams, Sebastian Kukulon all finishing a lap down as they were caught up in accidents today as well. But Josh, I want to say this was the race of the year so far. Homestead was great, but this one I think just barely topped it. And what do you think we're going to see at Phoenix next week as we head to our first official short track in terms of the chassis? I don't know. First of all, thoughts on this race? Thoughts on this race? Let's get that one out of the way.
I would absolutely agree with you that it has definitely been race of the year so far. I haven't seen Auto Club yet. Well, the point, as far as we're recording this right now, we do it the Thursday before the weekend's festivities. But I was in the booth for Homestead. I was in the booth for Daytona. Homestead was awesome. Daytona was weird, to say the least. Las Vegas, though, there's part of me that regrets leaving this racetrack off the schedule for Season 5, and it's because of races like what we just saw. That was so much fun. It was such an interesting dynamic. Something that I wasn't expecting coming in. It's very different than what we've seen in the past for the Cup Series here at Vegas. It definitely seemed more calculated than in the past, and I wonder if the ratings had something to do with that. But job well done for everyone that stayed up front throughout the most of the race. Like Justin Zeidel, he dominated for the first bit. It looked like he was going to have a good shot, and unfortunately, Joey Hightower, poor guy, most unluckiest guy to start the season, I would say, aside from, Travis Crampton before now. Big congratulations to Travis Crampton, 133.646 mile an hour average speed, and he will take home the big trophy in Sin City. What a great time today.
Absolutely. Great race. And hey, hopefully we have another great one still in the desert as we complete our West Coast swing at the Phoenix Raceway for the Castrol 500K. First time we've been to Phoenix in 2 years on the channel. That's a track we haven't gone to in a while. Looking forward to that one. I'm really looking forward to how the ratings affect those types of tracks. That's where things are really going to get interesting on the chassis type short track, even though it's not really a short track. The chassis type is short track. So when you go short track rating, that's where you're going for with that one. As Phoenix is included in that short track rating, same with Gateway as well, and then New Hampshire later on in the season, and of course the traditional short tracks with Bristol, Martinsville. But hey, enough about all that. Show you guys the points here. Things are going to really get interesting in the points. Matt Tuck's going to be closing in. Yera finished 28th. I'm wondering if it was a lot of pizzazz at the beginning of the season, and they got caught up in it. We'll just have to see. Still very early on here. Only 4 races in. We'll be a quarter of the way through the regular season after next week. We're a fifth of the way through now. Going to be interesting to see how those points take up. But hey, congratulations to Travis Crampton for getting the race victory here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And like I said, next week will be at Phoenix. That'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time because Josh has a race at Phoenix at 1 p.m. So we're going after Josh next weekend. It's a little bit later, but we'll have a lot of fun with that one from Phoenix next weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, congratulations to Travis Crampton on his race victory here in the Braille Battery 400. And here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series after 4 races. I will see you guys later.